Good evening, and welcome to an extended edition of S55 Sports Talk. As my colleagues celebrate the Dodgers winning the World Series, they have been gracious enough to allow me, a lifelong diehard Yankees fan, to close this episode on a dark note with a statement on the state of the Yankees. The state is not good. According to Albert Einstein, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The New Oxford American Dictionary defines insanity as the state of being seriously mentally ill, madness, or extreme foolishness, or irrationality. The Yankees are coming off yet another embarrassing postseason series loss, but they have given every signal that they will yet again not be making any changes to their front office or coaching staff, whether that be personnel or even approach. I've been a Yankee fan as long as I can remember, about 20 years. I grew up watching sermons of Derek Jeter and George Steinbrenner preaching that the standard as the Yankees is you either win a championship or you've failed. It's that simple. The Yankees have not won a World Series in 15 years. It is the second longest championship drought for the Yankees since 1923, the year we won our first World Series. The Yankees had a championship window open in 2017 with the emergence of superstar Aaron Judge. Manager Joe Girardi was dismissed after 2017, and Aaron Boone was named the new Yankee manager, despite not having any prior coaching experience. Since that window opened and Boone was placed at the helm, the Yankees have suffered numerous embarrassing early postseason exits, with the team seeming to lack focus and basic fundamentals, resulting in exactly 0 championships. Given that, one would think owner Hal Steinbrenner would be more than ready to make some kind of front office or coaching change. Nope. About 20 minutes after the last out of the World Series and the Dodgers were celebrating on the Yankees field, news was rushed out that Aaron Boone would be returning as Yankees manager for the 2025 season. The Yankees were embarrassed again. The whole world saw it, but somehow the Yankees could not and still cannot see it. Aaron Boone is returning in 2025. That will be his 8th season, and he will become the first Yankee manager to enter his 8th season without having won a World Series ring. Only 2 prior Yankee managers even got a 6th season after beginning 0-5. That's Clark Griffith from 1903 to 1908, when they were the New York Highlanders, and Miller Huggins from 1918 until he finally won the Yankees' first World Championship in 1923. Huggins went on to win 3 World Series. All other managers were replaced after starting 0-5. Yankee GM Brian Cashman had this to say regarding the retention of Aaron Boone. Aaron is a steadying presence in our clubhouse and possesses a profound ability to connect with and foster relationships with his players. Consistently exhibiting these skills in such a demanding and pressurized market is what makes him one of the game's finest managers. Our work is clearly not done, but as we pursue the ultimate prize in 2025, I am excited to have Aaron back to lead our team. This sentiment makes it clear that winning championships is not the number one priority of this regime. They are content with a steadying presence and someone who can foster relationships. Not that those are bad qualities, but Aaron Boone teams seem to continually lose focus and fail to demonstrate a lack of urgency when it matters most. This was on display for the whole world in the 2024 World Series. All the momentum seemed to have shifted the Yankees' way, but then all of a sudden, 3 errors, 5 unearned runs. They pissed all over their last chance at redemption, and the Dodgers were popping bottles in the Bronx. The 7th season under Aaron Boone closed with the 7th failure under Aaron Boone. with the whole world laughing at how fundamentally unsound the Yankees were. Yet the front office continues to prop him up. Before Aaron Boone was Joe Girardi, as we mentioned. Joe Girardi's tenure as Yankee manager is difficult to define. He was at the helm of the last Yankee championship, but he also oversaw several Yankee teams that fell short of the playoffs, something that had not happened under prior manager Joe Torre. In fact, Girardi's first year as manager saw the first season the Yankees would miss the playoffs entirely since 1993. However, as the Yankees waved goodbye to the playoffs and to Yankee Stadium following Game 162 of the 2008 season, they opened a new stadium in 2009, and Joe Girardi managed the Yankees to their first World Series championship since 2000. In the years following the 2009 championship, the Yankees would slowly decline from failing to make it past the American League Championship Series to missing the playoffs entirely. Then in 2017, a rebuilding roster overperformed under Girardi, and before losing in the ALCS to Houston, they overperformed under Girardi and then lost in the ALCS to Houston. But this was the first time that the team had even made the ALCS since 2012. This was also the first time that the team had made the ALCS without any members of the core four, Derek Jeter, Jorge Posada, Andy Pettitte, Mariano Rivera, since 1981. To say things were looking up was an understatement. However, the Yankees felt it necessary to move in a different direction with the manager position. The Yankees allowed Girardi's contract to expire and hired Aaron Boone to be the new manager for 2018. Prior to the 2023 season, Boone, who has yet to lead the Yankees to a championship, could counter the no rings argument with the fact that the Yankees had not missed the playoffs under his watch. After 2023, that reputation has now expired, and after yet another embarrassing postseason loss, it has become clear that the logic behind the firing of Joe Girardi and the continued employment of Aaron Boone is incongruent. The Yankees won 4 championships in Joe Torre's first 5 seasons as manager, who came before Joe Girardi. While the Yankees never missed the playoffs under Torre, none of his subsequent seasons as manager would end victoriously. The final straw seemed to be the Yankees' early exit versus the then Cleveland Indians in 2007, where Torre notoriously failed to intervene as his pitcher and defense was attacked by clouds of flying insects known as the Lake Erie midges. Fuck those midges. While the Yankees did offer Torre a 1-year contract ahead of the 2008 season, it didn't come without a pay cut from the prior year. The Torre separation calls for its own dissertation, but it was ultimately clear that the Yankees wanted to move in a different direction, with the team losing in the postseason short of the World Series each year since 2003. Torre left to manage the Dodgers, and Girardi was named the new manager of the Yankees ahead of the 2008 season. Girardi did have a long tenure littered with multiple seasons missing the playoffs, but that did come in the wake of the core four retiring one by one, and of course the unwinding of the massive Alex Rodriguez contract. Jorge Posada retired in 2011, then came Andy Pettitte and Mariano Rivera in 2013, Derek Jeter in 2014, and then Alex Rodriguez retired in the middle of the 2016 season, the same season Aaron Judge made his major league debut. The Yankees missed the playoffs in 2016, but things were looking up with a handful of promising young prospects on the horizon, such as Aaron Judge, Clint Frazier, and Gary Sanchez. In 2017, the Yankees were expected to be better than they were the year prior, but they weren't expected to be contenders. However, Aaron Judge emerged as a superstar, winning the AL Rookie of the Year and finishing a runner-up in the MVP race with his 52 home run season. Yankees would get back to the postseason, but eventually lose to the Astros in 7 games in the ALCS, falling 1 game short of reaching the World Series, which would have fell ahead of schedule. While it was yet another season without a championship, there was the feeling that this was the opening of a championship window, and the Yankees were building something sustainable. The A-Rod contract would finally come off the books after the season, freeing up over $27 million, which was then allocated to Giancarlo Stanton. the NL MVP the prior season. Girardi took a rebuilding team in 2017 and overachieved, coming within a game of a pennant versus a team that was cheating. The Yankees, however, decided not to bring back Joe Girardi and hired Aaron Boone from the ESPN Sunday Night Baseball booth. Boone's resume boasted one of the most memorable home runs in Yankees history. However, Boone's resume had neither prior coaching experience nor a championship. The Yankees lost that World Series after Boone hit the home run. The decision was largely blamed on Girardi's relationship with the Yankees' young, talented, but inconsistent catcher, Gary Sanchez. The understanding is that Girardi was too hard on Gary. Boone is a relationship guy, may have had a better relationship with Gary. That certainly did not translate to an improved on-the-field performance. The hype surrounding the Yankees going into 2018 seemed to have eclipsed the logic behind the manager change. The Yankees finally had a young core to be excited about, had just finished one game shy of a pennant, and they just added the NL MVP from the prior year. That team lost to Boston in the ALDS. They were completely outclassed by a better team. The Yankees seem to have bounced back in 2019, where they finally won the division. I think that was the first time since 2012 that they had won the division. But again, they lost to Houston. They lost in 6 games in heartbreak fashion, but they still lost. There was a lot of hype coming into 2020 after they had signed Garrett Cole, one of the best pitchers in the game. But then the COVID shutdowns happened. In the shortened season, the team didn't look awful, but it was clear that there were holes that needed to be filled after some of these prospects just weren't panning out. The holes that emerged after the 2020 season were not filled in 2021. They were not filled in 2022 or 2023. This led to an embarrassing loss in the wild card game to the Red Sox in 2021, an embarrassing sweep by the Astros in 2022 in the ALCS. This flawed roster construction cannot be blamed on Boone, but these teams consistently lacked fundamentals and poise, sloppy defense, poor base running, and a lineup that seemed to go lifeless more and more often. They say hitting's contagious. For the Yankees, it was not hitting as contagious. That is what Boone can be blamed for. When shit would hit the fan, he never expressed any sense of urgency, never inserted any accountability into the clubhouse whatsoever. After the disastrous 2023 season that ended with the Yankees missing the playoffs entirely, Juan Soto joined the team, and the Yankees won the division for the first time since 2019 and reached the World Series for the first time since 2009. The Yankees did not play great baseball in the ALDS and ALCS to reach the World Series, but the Royals and Guardians were unable to make the Yankees pay for sloppy defense and bad base running. They were able to slug their way to get to the World Series. We also cannot ignore the fact that they avoided facing the Orioles and or Astros, which probably would have matched up better against them. The Yankees brought the same brand of Boone ball into the World Series, but faced a Dodgers team that was just too good to let a team get away with that kind of play. The Yankees gave away Game 1 multiple times due to Boone's decisions, pulling Garrett Cole after 88 pitches, electing to use Nestor Cortez Jr., who had not pitched in over 3 weeks, over Tim Hill, who had been effective that postseason, to face the top of the Dodgers lineup. 2 Hall of Famers at least, maybe 3. In the 10th inning with a lead, no less. They had that game won. The Yankees showed up lifeless in Game 2 after that, with Juan Soto's 3rd inning home run being the only Yankee hit over the first 8 innings. Game 3 was another uninspiring, lifeless display. Miraculously, the Dodgers punted Game 4 with a bullpen game, and the Yankees won 11-4. Out of the 25 teams to start a World Series down 0-3, the Yankees became just the 4th to even force a Game 5. None of them have forced a Game 6. Miraculously, after looking so bad over the first 3 games of the series, the Yankees had their ace on the hill the next night with a chance to send the series back to LA. They still had a chance. Game 5 could not have started off better for the Yankees. Judge homered in the first inning and looked like he had finally figured things out at the plate after a disastrous postseason. Dodgers starting pitcher Jack Flaherty could not make it out of the 2nd inning and the Dodgers had to essentially deploy a bullpen game for the second night in a row. The Yankees took a 5-0 lead into the 5th inning of Game 5, and we were getting ready for a flight back to LA. Number 55, Carlos Rodon, would be the Yankees' Game 6 starter. We thought we would have the upper hand for that game, and then all hands on deck for a Game 7. We had a chance. The Dodgers did not want to go back to LA. We had them on the ropes, and then boom ball happened. 3 errors, beginning with Judge missing a fly ball on Cole's 55th pitch. 5 unearned runs. It was the first such inning in baseball history to have 3 errors and 5 unearned runs. Happened in the fucking World Series. Yankees lost the game 7-6, lost the series 3-1. The Dodgers celebrated on the Yankees field, and Yankee fans quickly learned that Aaron Boone would be back for an 8th season, still ringless. Boone is only the surface of the problem. Boone can be blamed for the team's demonstration of a lack of fundamentals, focus, urgency, accountability, etc. But at the end of the day, a manager can only play the players that he is given to play. Brian Cashman, Yankees GM since 1998, has been the architect of countless flawed rosters. Yet Yankees chairman and managing general partner Hal Steinbrenner seems to have granted Brian Cashman a lifetime position with infinite job security. It is a top-down organizational problem. After numerous holes were revealed following the 2020 season, Brian Cashman did absolutely nothing to improve the roster ahead of 2021. What Brian Cashman did to attempt to improve the roster in 2022 deserves its own monologue. With a plethora of established superstar shortstops available in free agency, Brian Cashman decided to trade Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and Josh Donaldson. The Yankees had 2 promising shortstop prospects in the minor leagues, so Cashman insisted we only needed a stopgap option. Gio Urshela could have fulfilled that role without taking on the $25 million annually for Josh Donaldson, who couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. But Brian Cashman said this about Gio Urshela: he's no Josh Donaldson. That part was at least correct. Gio Urshela could still help a Major League Baseball team. Aaron Judge carried the team in 2022. They won the division but nearly lost to Cleveland in the ALDS and then got absolutely obliterated in a sweep by the Astros. IKF was clearly unfit for shortstop. By July, that was obvious. So much so it got into the ALCS with the Astros. They finally pulled him and played the prospect Oswald Peraza. For some reason, the Yankees refused to start Oswald Peraza over IKF during the season. That's another thing that deserves its own dissertation. Following the failure of 2022, Brian Cashman re-signed Aaron Judge and added Carlos Rodon to a 6-year, $162 million contract. That's the same exact contract given to Freddie Freeman by the Dodgers, by the way. Same years, same dollars. The Yankees again were effectively running it back. They missed the playoffs in 2023 and looked abysmal. After 2023, Padres owner Pete Seidler tragically passed away, which allowed Juan Soto to fall into the Yankees' laps for the 2024 season. This was speculation at first, but was confirmed by Juan Soto's agent, Scott Boras, after the World Series. Cashman did virtually nothing after adding Juan Soto. The notable additions were starting pitcher Marcus Stroman, who threw exactly 0 postseason innings this year, relievers Victor Gonzalez and Dennis Santana, who were both DFA'd, and they also traded away Trey Sweeney to get them, by the way, who's now the starting shortstop for the Tigers. Who else? Jazz Chisholm. He contributed next to nothing this postseason other than mouthing off and pissing off umpires. Reliever Angel De Los Santos. He was DFA'd and picked up by the White Sox. The White Sox were the worst team in MLB history this year. Who else we got? Reliever Mark Leiter Jr., who was awful and left off the postseason roster, but somehow he pitched well in the World Series after he was subbed in after an injury to Ian Hamilton. The Dodgers, on the other hand, after adding their superstar of the offseason, Shohei Ohtani, acquired Yamamoto, And then at the deadline, Jack Flaherty, Michael Kopech, and Tommy Edman, all of whom helped contribute in the postseason. The Dodgers had themselves an offseason and deadline. You put it all together, it was reminiscent of the 2009 Yankees. The Yankees added 3 marquee free agents that year, and then they won the World Series. They haven't had an all-in offseason like that since. They haven't won the World Series since. Brian Cashman had the following statement on the 2024 season. It makes me sick. I said we had a struggle with our base running this year. We were a bad defensive team without a doubt at times this year. But we also, when you take it all, add it all together, we were really a good baseball team that earned the right to win the American League and get all the way to the World Series. And we're really super proud about it. If you know me, you know the last part of that quote makes me seethe to my core. There is nothing about the 2024 season to be proud about. It was an absolute failure. It was an embarrassment. The whole world saw the embarrassment. Somehow the Yankees do not see this embarrassment. Cashman blames Boone, blames bad base running and bad defense, yet he continues to add those players to the roster year after year and defend Boone, whose teams consistently lack fundamentals and play the most sloppy, unfocused, losing brand of baseball I've ever fucking seen. Sure, we won the American League. We beat 2 AL Central teams along the way. Since 2013, the Yankees are 6-0 in postseason series against AL Central teams. They're 0-6 against teams outside the AL Central in the postseason. Their record in those games is 19-6 versus AL Central teams and 10-24 versus non-AL Central teams in the postseason. The AL Central, by the way, is not known for having $300 million payroll budgets like the Yankees. If Hal Steinbrenner gave any kind of a fuck about winning, he would fire Brian Cashman and sue him for misappropriation of funds. However, the Yankees still consistently sell out home games, and Hal Steinbrenner is still consistently making money. In his eyes, nothing's wrong. So why change? These are my closing thoughts. I've not been to Yankee Stadium since 2022. I see the Yankees on the road as much as I can because I still love baseball. I still love the Yankees. But it brings me an insurmountable amount of pain. I would be naive to think that I am making an impact, but it's the principle of the matter. I'm disgusted. Hal Steinbrenner is investing more and more into soccer and less into the Yankees. He should sell the team then. He's clearly unfit to act as Yankees chairman. His father has rolled over in his grave so many times, it's just one big hole now. He's allowing Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone, who are terrorists, to run this once great franchise into the ground and turn it into a laughingstock. They still think they're the big bad 27-time world champion Yankees of old. They're not. They're a laughingstock. The worst part, they still see themselves as the big bad Yankees of old. So in their eyes, nothing's wrong. And that is the biggest fucking problem there is. So why even watch? What is there to be hopeful about 2025 and going forward? I want more than anything to be proven wrong. And before the top of the 5th inning in Game 5, I thought I was going to be proven wrong. Obviously, Juan Soto's priority number 1 this offseason. Will Cashman get too cute? Will Hal be too cheap? It's the easy decision to just fucking pay him and then not do anything after to appease the casual fans and keep the stadium packed. That's what they did with Judge after 2022, and then they missed the playoffs in 2023. We'll see what they do. George Steinbrenner would add Juan Soto, Willie Adames, Corbin Burns, and one of Pete Alonso, Christian Walker, or Josh Naylor. They might get one of those guys, maybe. Again, I hope I'm wrong. In conclusion, fire Boone, fire Cashman, or sell the damn team, Hal. You scumbag terrorist piece of shit. Fuck you.